Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. When a man truly wants a woman, he doesn't just jump in with both feet and hope for the best. No. A man with intentions, a man with vision is going to watch, to observe, to test, not because he's playing games, but because he's looking for a partner he can trust with his heart, his dreams, and his future. See, a good man knows that beauty can catch his eye, but character will capture his soul. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. When a man is serious about a woman, he's not just looking at how she smiles when things are going good, or how she dresses up for date night, or how she laughs when the sun is shining. No. A man who's got his mind made up that he wants to see if you're the real deal is going to watch you in the moments that aren't polished, the moments that aren't pretty, the moments that life throws a curveball right at your head. Because here's the truth. Love is easy when the bills are paid, the fridge is full, and everybody's healthy. But real relationships, they get tested when the rain starts falling, when things break down, when the plan doesn't go according to script. That's when he's watching. See, a man knows that anybody can be sweet when there's money in the bank. Anybody can hold hands when the sun's out and the birds are singing. But what happens when he gets laid off and the bills start looking like a mountain? What happens when his car breaks down on the way to work and he's stressed out trying to figure out how to keep it all together? He's watching to see if you're still there cheering him on, or if you suddenly too busy to pick up the phone. I'll tell you why this matters so much to men, because pressure changes people. Some folks, when life gets hard, they get sharper, stronger, more focused. Others, when life gets hard, they fall apart, they point fingers, they start blaming everybody around them. A man needs to know which one you are before he lets his guard down. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing that when the heat is on, you won't run for the nearest exit. And let me tell you, ladies, men notice the little things in those moments. If he's going through a rough patch and you say, hey, I made you some dinner, or I believe in you, we'll get through this, that stays with him. That becomes part of how he sees you. It tells him, this woman ain't just here for the highlight reel. She's here for the behind the scenes too. But if you roll your eyes, start complaining about how things aren't the way they used to be, or make him feel like he's failing you, that tells him something too. And trust me, it's not the message you want to send. I've seen men test this without even realizing they're doing it. He might take you somewhere a little less fancy than usual just to see if you still enjoy his company without the fancy steak and the white tablecloth. He might talk about a problem he's facing, not because he needs you to solve it, but because he wants to see if you'll listen without judgment. He might even let you see him vulnerable. And let me tell you, that is one of the biggest tests a man can give, because men are in the habit of showing weakness unless they think you're worth it. When a man is serious about you, he's not just watching how you treat him when he's on top of the mountain. He's watching how you treat him when he's down in the valley. That's where trust is built. That's where love proves itself. And if he sees that you can be calm when everything around you is chaos, that you can be kind when life is anything but kind, that's when he starts thinking about forever. Because to a man who's ready to commit, beauty, charm, and chemistry are great, but they're not enough. He's looking for a woman who won't disappear when the music stops and the party's over. He's looking for the one who will grab his hand and say, we're going to make it through this, even when she's scared herself. And when he finds that, ladies, that's when the test is over and you've already passed. When a man is going through his lowest moments, that's when he learns the most about the woman he's with. It's easy for people to stick around when life is good, when the money is flowing, when opportunities are knocking, and when there's something to celebrate. But the real measure of a partner is how they show up when the celebration is over and the silence gets heavy. For a man, those quiet, difficult seasons are like a magnifying glass. They make everything about you clearer. Your character, your patience, your loyalty. A man who truly cares will watch closely when his spirit is broken. He might have just lost his job, or maybe something in his personal life has knocked him off balance. His confidence might be shaken, his pride wounded, his direction unclear. He'll notice if you treat him like less of a man because of it, or if you still see him with the same respect and admiration you had when he was at his best. Respect in those moments means everything to a man. When he feels like the world is against him, but his woman is still for him, that creates a bond that's hard to break. See, it's not about whether you can fix his problems. Most men aren't expecting you to solve their challenges. What he's looking for is whether you can stand next to him without judgment while he figures it out. Can you still encourage him when he's doubting himself? Can you still look at him with the same love when his pockets are empty and his head is down? These are the questions running in his mind, even if he never says them out loud. Some men, when they hit rock bottom, will pull away just to see if you'll follow. He might go quiet for a while, not to play games, but to see if you'll reach out and check on him. He might share something deeply personal, not to get pity, but to see if you'll use it against him later or hold it as sacred trust. He's paying attention to whether you talk about his struggles with others or keep them between the two of you. In those vulnerable seasons, loyalty isn't just important, it's everything. If you choose to stand with him in those times, your actions will speak louder than any promise you could make. Small things matter more than you think. Sending him a message saying, I believe in you. Cooking him a meal after a long day, or just listening without interrupting. Those moments carry weight. They let him know that you're not just in love with what he can provide or the image he presents to the world. You're in love with him, the man himself, even when he's stripped down to nothing but his will to keep going. But if when he's struggling, you become impatient, start criticizing him, or make him feel like he's failing you, it leaves a mark. Men remember who was there for them when they had little, and they remember who wasn't. And it's not just about finances. It could be his health, his mental state, or his family issues. Whatever form the low point takes, he's learning how safe he feels with you in that space. Supporting a man in his lowest moments doesn't mean you never get frustrated or have your own feelings about the situation. It means you choose your words carefully, you don't tear him down, and you make it clear you're still on his team. For a man, knowing that his woman believes in him even when he's at his weakest is like fuel in his tank. It can push him to get back up, to keep fighting, and to rise even stronger. That's why so many men test for this without consciously planning it. They know life will eventually hit them with something hard, and they need to see if the woman by their side is the kind who will lean in or back away. And when he finds out you're the type who leans in, who refuses to let him fight alone, you've not only passed his test, you've earned a place in his heart that no one else can touch. When a man shares his goals and ambitions with you, he's not just making conversation. He's opening a window into his dreams, the deepest part of his mind where he keeps the things he wants most in life. For a man, talking about his vision isn't always easy because it's tied to his pride, his sense of purpose, and how he sees himself as a provider, protector, or achiever. That's why when he starts telling you about what he's working toward, how you react becomes one of the clearest signals you can send. He's paying close attention because in that moment, he's not just talking. He's testing whether you're someone who will help fuel his drive or drain it. Men are wired to want to accomplish things, to set targets and hit them. It's not about ego for every man. It's about building something meaningful, leaving a mark, or creating stability for the people they care about. But chasing big goals takes energy, focus, and sacrifice. And if the person closest to him doesn't believe in him, that dream becomes twice as heavy to carry. That's why your response matters so much. If you roll your eyes, dismiss his ideas, or make him feel like his dreams are unrealistic, it plants doubt in his mind, not just about the dream, but about you. He might not say it right away, but he'll remember the tone in your voice, the way you looked at him, the little comments you made. On the other hand, if you show genuine interest, ask questions, and offer encouragement, that lights him up. It tells him that you're not just with him for who he is today, but for who he's trying to become tomorrow. Men notice whether you get excited about their progress or whether you act like it's nothing. They notice if you celebrate their small wins or only acknowledge them when something big happens. They notice if you talk about their goals like they're part of your shared future, or if you act like it's just his personal project that doesn't concern you. When you believe in what he's working toward, it gives him a sense of partnership. And that can be one of the most powerful motivators in the world. Sometimes a man will intentionally share a dream that's still in its early stages just to see how you react. He's not looking for blind agreement, but for open-minded support. Maybe he tells you about a business idea, a career change, or a big move he's been thinking about. If your first response is to point out every possible way it could go wrong, without acknowledging how much it matters to him, he'll feel like you're not on his team. But if you can express your concerns while still showing that you want him to succeed, that tells him you're someone he can trust with both his fears and his hopes. Your encouragement doesn't have to be dramatic. It could be as simple as saying, "I believe in you," or "I know you can do this." It could be helping him brainstorm ideas, introducing him to someone who could help, or just reminding him why he started in the first place. To a man who's truly driven, that kind of support is priceless. It makes him feel like he's not chasing his dream alone, like he's got someone in his corner who's cheering for him, even when the rest of the world is silent. On the flip side, discouragement can quietly chip away at a man's motivation. If every time he talks about the future, he's met with skepticism or negativity, he'll start sharing less and less with you, not because he's hiding something, but because he doesn't feel safe exposing that vulnerable, hopeful side of himself. That's how emotional distance starts to grow. When a man realizes you're someone who not only listens to his ambitions, but actively supports them, he begins to see you as part of his bigger picture. You're no longer just a person he's dating. You become part of the reason he wants to win. And when that happens, the bond between you strengthens in a way that makes it hard for him to imagine building his life with anyone else. Disagreements are part of every relationship, no matter how much two people care about each other. They can happen over small things like what to eat for dinner, or big things like money, family, or future plans. For a man, it's not the disagreement itself that matters most, it's how you handle it. He's paying attention to the way you talk to him when you're upset, the words you choose, the tone you use, and whether your respect for him disappears the moment emotions run high. That's because for most men, respect is the foundation of how they feel love. When a man is serious about you, he wants to know that even in conflict, you won't treat him like the enemy. He's not expecting you to agree with everything he says. In fact, a good man appreciates a woman who can stand her ground and speak her mind, but there's a difference between expressing your feelings and attacking his character. If in the heat of an argument, you start insulting him, belittling his efforts, or bringing up old wounds just to hurt him, he takes note of that. Those words don't just disappear after the fight ends. They stick in his memory and can change the way he feels about the relationship. On the other hand, if you can disagree with him while still showing that you value and respect him as a man, that leaves an entirely different impression. You can be firm without being cruel. You can express frustration without tearing him down. And when a man sees that you are able to have a difficult conversation without crossing into disrespect, he sees you as someone who's mature enough to handle the challenges of real life together. A lot of men will intentionally observe how you act during small disagreements before bigger ones ever come up. Maybe you're debating where to go for the weekend, or you're frustrated because he forgot something important. Those moments might seem minor, but to him, they're a preview of how you might react in more serious situations. If you slam doors, give the silent treatment for days, or talk to him like he's beneath you, it sends a message about what conflict will look like in the future. But if you can stay calm, explain how you feel, and listen to his side even when you disagree, it shows him you're someone who can work through problems instead of running from them or escalating them. That's the respect during disagreements isn't about pretending everything is fine or holding back your feelings. It's about remembering that you're both on the same team even when you don't see eye to eye. A man who's thinking about building a life with you wants to know that you won't turn every conflict into a battlefield. He wants to know that when challenges come, and they will, you'll fight for the relationship, not against him. Sometimes men will even test this without realizing it. He might challenge your opinion on something, not to be difficult, but to see if you can handle a difference of perspective without shutting down or lashing out. He might admit to making a mistake to see whether you'll treat him with understanding or use it as ammunition. He's watching to see if you can be upset without being destructive. It's not that he expects perfection. Everyone loses their cool sometimes, but he's looking for patterns. If you can disagree in a way that still leaves room for mutual respect, that tells him you're someone he can trust with his heart in both the good times and the hard ones. And if you can come back together after a disagreement, able to apologize when needed and move forward without holding grudges, that's the kind of quality that makes a man want to stay and invest more in the relationship. When a man knows you won't tear him down in moments of conflict, it gives him the confidence to be open and honest with you, even about difficult things. That's because he feels safe. Safe that you'll hear him out. Safe that you won't humiliate him. Safe that the love between you won't get lost just because you had a bad moment. And for a man who's looking for a true partner, that kind of safety is worth everything. Patience is one of the qualities a man values most when he's thinking about committing to a woman, and it's something he will notice without you even realizing it. Life has a way of slowing things down, delaying plans, and throwing obstacles in the way of progress. A man who's serious about you knows that sooner or later, the two of you will face seasons where things don't move as fast as you want them to. In those moments, he's watching to see if you're able to stand by him while he works through the challenges, or if you're quick to give up when the road gets bumpy. This isn't about playing games or deliberately making you wait for no reason. It's about life's natural timing. Maybe his career is in a transition stage and he's not where he wants to be yet. Maybe he's saving up for something important, and that means you can't do everything you'd like right now. Maybe he's dealing with a personal or family issue that requires time and focus. During these periods, a man pays close attention to whether you can handle the slower pace without constant complaints or pressure. Patience doesn't mean you never feel frustrated or wish things would move faster. It means you understand that building something real takes time and that temporary delays don't define the entire relationship. A man who's looking for a long-term partner will see impatience as a red flag because it makes him wonder how you'll react when bigger challenges come. If waiting a few months for something feels unbearable to you, what happens when life requires years of steady effort? Sometimes, without planning it, a man will notice how you respond to situations that require waiting. It could be something as small as him running late or having to reschedule plans, or something as big as postponing a major decision until the time is right. If you handle it with understanding, he feels like you're someone who can walk through life's ups and downs with him. If you react with anger, ultimatums, or threats to walk away, it sends the opposite message. Patience is also about emotional steadiness. A man needs to know that when he's under pressure, you won't add to the stress by demanding immediate solutions to things that can't be fixed overnight. He's looking for a partner who can encourage him without pushing him beyond his limits in the middle of a struggle. It's not that he wants you to put your needs on hold forever, but that you trust his process enough to give him the space and time he needs to handle things the right way. The way you show your patience can be subtle but powerful. It could be in your willingness to adjust plans when life interferes, your ability to stay supportive during a long-term goal, or your understanding when he's working long hours to build something for the future. These actions tell him that you're not just in the relationship for the quick rewards. You're here for the journey, even if it takes longer than expected. When a man sees that you have patience, it builds his trust in you. He feels safer opening up about his challenges because he knows you won't lose faith in him if everything isn't perfect right away. That patience can also deepen the connection between you because it gives both of you the room to grow individually and together without constant pressure to hit some invisible deadline. On the other hand, when a man senses that your commitment is conditional on how quickly things go your way, he may start to hold back. He may become cautious about making promises or sharing his struggles because he's not sure you'll still be there if the timing isn't ideal. That's why patience is such a powerful signal to him. It tells him that your love isn't based on instant gratification, but on genuine investment in his life and in the relationship. For a man, finding a woman who has patience isn't just comforting, it's rare. When he realizes that you can handle delays, setbacks, and slow seasons without pulling away, It makes him see you as someone who could truly walk through a lifetime with him. And when he finds that, he knows he's found something worth holding on to. Consistency is one of the most important things a man looks for when he's deciding whether to fully commit to a woman. In the beginning of a relationship, almost everyone is on their best behavior. The excitement is fresh, the effort is high, and the energy is easy to keep up. But as time passes, life settles into a rhythm and the first rush of emotion starts to calm down. That's when a man starts to see who you really are, day in and day out, and that's where consistency becomes the deciding factor. For a man, consistency is about more than just showing up. It's about your actions matching your words over a long period of time. Anyone can say they're loyal, loving, and supportive, but does your behavior still reflect that after months and years have gone by? Do you treat him with the same kindness when things are routine as you did when you were trying to win his heart? He's watching to see if your love is something he can depend on or if it fades when the novelty wears off. Men pay attention to patterns. If you say you're honest, do you tell the truth even when it's uncomfortable? If you say you're supportive, do you stand by him when he's struggling, not just when he's succeeding? If you say you're committed, do your actions make him feel secure, or do they leave him wondering where you stand? These are the silent tests that happen over time, and they tell him more than any single conversation ever could. Consistency is also about emotional stability. That doesn't mean you never have bad days or moments of frustration, but it does mean that your overall behavior toward him doesn't swing wildly from one extreme to the other. A man needs to know that he can count on your attitude and your approach to the relationship. If one week you're affectionate and loving, and the next week you're cold and distant for no clear reason, it creates uncertainty. Over time, that uncertainty makes him question whether the relationship is built on solid ground. In many ways, consistency builds trust more than grand gestures ever could. Flowers, surprises, and romantic moments are wonderful, but what truly makes a man feel safe is knowing that you'll be there for him in the same steady way no matter what season of life you're both in. He wants to know that your care for him doesn't vanish when you're busy, that your respect for him doesn't disappear during disagreements, and that your commitment doesn't weaken when life tests you both. Sometimes men will test for consistency without even realizing it. They notice if you follow through on what you say, whether it's something small like returning a call when you promised, or something bigger like keeping a commitment you made during a serious conversation. They notice if your treatment of them changes based on circumstances. For example, whether you're just as loving when he's tired and stressed as when he's making you laugh and taking you out. Inconsistency, even in small ways, can make a man feel uneasy. If he's not sure how you'll treat him from one week to the next, he may start to protect himself by pulling back. On the other hand, when your love and behavior are steady, it gives him the freedom to be himself without worrying about sudden shifts in the relationship. That's when he starts opening up more, sharing deeper parts of himself, and investing more in you. A man who's looking for a lifelong partner knows that passion can come and go in waves, but consistency is what keeps the bond strong when life gets busy, stressful, or complicated. It's the reassurance that he can count on you, not just in the big moments, but in the small everyday ones that make up most of life. And when he sees that your words and actions line up over time, it tells him that your love isn't just a feeling you have today, it's a choice you make every day. When a man finds that kind of steady, dependable presence in a woman, it becomes one of the clearest signs to him that she's the one he can build a future with.